Hello and welcome to another monthly mini review. I forgot how we start these. By us,
Well, not like
Underhive
that.
Lorekeepers. Yeah. All right, and
Hello and welcome.
6 seconds, and
Yeah.
I've already stuffed something up. Okay, it is right now the last day of March,
It
and
is too.
we
Yes.
are hoping Games Workshop don't announce something tonight because then our list is going to be missing something. But
And then we can't
it's
review it for like
yeah,
a whole month,
a whole
basically.
month, and you
That's our
watch it.
own rules.
Yeah, you watch it, it'll end up being like, here's just like the ultimate Necromunda release ever, and it'll just be, okay, good one,
Here's the
guys.
Lords of Aranthus returned. Here,
Yeah.
all of
Oh,
them. This is
here's
what
a
they look
thousand
like.
pages of specific lore. But don't know what's going on with this opening. All right, so I am Spamuel. That is Nathan. Wait, that is Nathan. And we are doing the review of the minis that we have seen previewed for the month of March. Now,
I
this
know.
is
I'm
going to
just
be...
laughing that you've just gone. Do you know what? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to bring it back to the basics. He is
Back
me.
to
I am
basics.
you. This is what we do. Done. Okay, let's get into
Yeah,
it. Let's get into
we
it.
usually do lore. We
Yeah.
now do mini reviews as well. And yeah, that's everything. You're all caught up. Let's look at some miniatures. Nathan, what is first?
Our first one is probably one we've been like excitedly waiting for as well. It is the big man himself, the Prophet of the Redemption. It is basically what the one of the main protagonists of the whole Aranthian succession, you would say.
Yes, yeah, the
Yeah.
dude shows up at what is it? It's at on the outskirts of Cinderak City when everything's burned to the ground, and he's just like, "Hey, dummies,
Yeah.
do you love the Emperor?" And you know what? People do love the Emperor, and the guy rocks up and basically just does the ultimate crusade. The Emperor himself would have been proud, like
Oh, there would have been high fives all round for
yeah,
that. Yes.
Gulliman would have been like, "Nice crusading, bro." Um, so
Busily taking, adding to the chapter, to the
yeah,
codex, sorry. Just like, do what Prophet Guy does. Done. Underline, underscored. Go do that, Space Wolves.
now I love this miniature. I think it is just phenomenal because it's so close to the actual artwork. The
Yes.
stance, the staff, the corpse, who I still believe is probably the high sort of redemptor priest of the Inquisition.
Yeah,
But
well, definitely. The hood, the helmet, like the eye covering and so forth, I totally believe that. And we spoke about it, that from the artwork, and they transposed the artwork directly. So this model screams redemptionist religious nutter.
yeah. Now, I know there was a lot of people who got kind of annoyed with the model because he's wearing sandals. Firstly, battle sandals are all the rage. Okay, like you need battle sandals in what's the word I'm looking for? In the modern world. Like the
You do.
dude is kicking around, beard, battle sandals, badass attitude, praising the Emperor. What
Are they
else do you need?
are they battle sandals? Because I can sort of see like little servo harnessy type things on the side of his legs.
Then they're
Do you
battle
think?
sandal knee-high boots.
No, what I'm saying is like it's actually assisting him to walk because he's a rickety old Rick. You know what I mean? Like he's got thin little calves and so forth. I think this is
Oh, okay.
like almost like a harness, a leggy type. I think we're looking at like a mobility aid in 40K.
This is the face I want you to see.
Yeah,
Like, are you
it's a mobility aid.
Are you saying that his battle sandals are somehow connected to like a mind impulse unit? Like he's got like a black carapace going on under there?
No, but if you look at it, there's there's like the sandal. I would love a 360 of this because I want to see it on his back because it goes up along his back. It goes down part like it's connected to his knees. It looks like it goes up his thighs and so forth. I'm saying this miniature has got like some sort of harness to keep him going because he's an old frail man.
You know what? You've sold me. You've
Yeah.
absolutely sold me.
Look at the nonsense on his shoulders.
Yeah, no, you've sold me.
There's something there.
I
Yeah.
now completely agree. It's
And-
not battle sandals; it's battle harness with combat sandals.
Yeah, and I think it's all because that hat is so damn big.
It's
so
it's
heavy.
Steel.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, can't we just make this out of like some sort of gilded cloth? No, sir. No, this needs to be steel, and we're going to line it with lead. But don't you
worst
worry.
case scenario, headbutt someone.
Yeah,
Headbutt them
absolutely.
hard.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, when you look at the weapons he has available to him, it's one angry, raging face, one sort of, I think I'm a psycho left hand, and then a big old staff of skeleton doom.
Skeleton and fire.
Yeah, skeleton and fire. That's all he's got. So, sorry, excuse me. His headbutt is an absolute necessity. He has to
He
have
can
that
double
thing going.
headbutt. Like, do I have something staff-like near me?
You have your
Like
terrain
tube.
piece.
He can go bam, pop, bam, pop.
Yeah.
Bam,
With Goliath
pop.
just sitting there
It
going,
works.
I was beaten by multiple headbutts. That's our thing. How did this happen?
This one Goliath champion, that guy gets it.
Yeah,
That guy gets it.
absolutely. Can we recruit him? No, we're following him. Okay, I
Nice.
understand. He has
Nice.
good crayons. I'm going with him. Absolutely. No, look, winding it back, I really want to see the 360 of this miniature. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what's on the back of him. And it's a beautiful miniature that anywhere in the Imperium is going to get some use out of this. If you have
yeah.
any sort of ecclesiacal like add-ons or people who follow armies or whatever the case might be, and couple this with the banner bearer from Lensk's command squad, and you've got like a couple
Yes.
of high hat nutters, you know.
Cut them in with the ecclesiastical kill team from that
Oh yes, the Fire and Faith or
from
Fire and Zeal.
Fire and Zeal, Fire and Faith, Fire and Blood. I don't know. All I know is there is a lot of religious nutters coming out right now.
Yeah, it's perfect.
best.
I love it. I love
the
it. And it's the high hats, mate. Like
High hats.
It almost makes me want to think about like creating a gang or a squad or whatever that is all about high hats. Like and not Eldar, obviously.
Abraham Lincoln,
Yes, there we go.
top hat.
That's beautiful.
But anyway, before I start making jokes about popping off in theaters, why don't we move on to the next mini here? And you can talk about this one because these seem to be your favorite heresy boys.
Okay, well, firstly, a correction. They're everybody's favorite heresy boys. And it is Astacrone, the immovable object. This miniature is beautiful. This exemplifies Blood Angels in the heresy. And even modern day Blood Angels can draw some inspiration from this as well. The knee guards, or the what are they called? Oh, I can't ever think of the name. Are they greaves? Or they
Greaves.
Greaves, yeah. With the faces beautifully rendered on them. Absolutely stunning. Even the tassels that he has are just a little bit different to just the standard like leather lines, leather slashes coming down. And then your eye is automatically drawn to the blood drop on the axe and how beautiful that axe is as well. This model is like tick Blood Angel nonsense, tick more Blood Angel nonsense, big old tick Blood Angel nonsense. But for me, the winning element of this miniature is that face mask. I don't know what it is, but it just makes him look callous and cold. It's just something about it that says, yes, unremorseful. No, there will be no pity, no quarter given from this particular individual. I love this miniature. I think it's great. I think it, as a piece to work on, I think it would be brilliant as well. Because you've got so much detail, but I feel like it's the type of miniature you'd want to overpaint. Like, to do way too much detail on. Really have every bit of armour with too much paint on it. I think it'd be beautiful. Okay. Oh, do you know what? Do you know? I know how to make him better for you. We'll put some hazard stripes on one of his shoulder pads.
Tickety boom, baby, and I'm back in the game. It's ironic you say that because if he's an immovable object, the Iron Warriors would be the best legion to get him out of the game. Like, just pretend he's a wall. We bring him down, baby. We bring him down.
Yeah, because like when it comes to actual opposition, they wouldn't know how to fight them. But a stationary wall, we'll rock the socks off that stationary wall every day of the week.
We have a specialization.
We put all of our points into wall destroying. That's very nice, Peter. Now go off and be Turbo somewhere else.
Hey, we were the only legion to get our job done at the assault on Holy Terror.
No. And then you booted off and did nothing.
Yeah,
anyway, let's
doesn't matter.
Let's
go back to Blood Angels then. This guy, I will agree with you, is a beautiful miniature. I find it incredibly intimidating because of everything you've said. His armor is beautiful. Everything about the armor is beautiful. Like just the filigree on the model, even the axe. Like those little details where if you will be able to tell the difference between a good painter and a great painter with a model like this.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. And then you'll be able to see me,
slap chop.
They'd be like, slap chop, baby. Why is it silver with hazard stripes? Shut up, Mum.
See, even she doesn't like the Iron Warriors. She knows a little about the hobby. No, she doesn't. I'm sorry, mate. She told me. But the back of the cape is what I want to see as well. I want to see if there's any extra details on that. 100%. And I would love to see a better detail of the hand, that left hand, because it's rare that you get Astartes open hands that actually look really, really good. But from the angle that you can see on this one, it looks good. It does look good. I'd love to see if it actually... Sometimes they're a little bit too stunty. Sometimes they're a little bit too long. A lot of the Primaris hands look really good. Yeah. But I think sometimes with the non-Primaris armour, it just doesn't come out right. But this one looks really amazing. But I really want to see what's on that cloak as well. Because the cloak is the blank canvas. If there's nothing on it, you can go for your life. Paint a whole imagery of Sanguinius's greatest battles on the back of his thing.
Yeah.
On the back of his cloak, sorry.
If we want to talk about absolutely awesome Blood Angels, we're only actually technically able to talk about one of them. And that just happens to be our next miniature. It's Vandoth the Fallen, baby. Look at him. Look at him.
And now, can we openly discuss something?
Yes.
A conversation we had in private?
Yes.
Do you believe that our ideas are being stolen?
So if we're going to be...
This is behind the curtains, people. This is a private conversation.
I understand that these miniatures are planned and ready for production sometimes years ahead of time.
Yep.
This exact miniature is from our brains.
Yes,
we talked about
absolutely.
this. I'm pretty sure you described him exactly like this.
Yep.
During one of our Patreon episodes, and I love everything. Like, we knew he was a space marine.
Yes, yeah, like the worst kept secret. Yeah.
But I don't believe he's a space marine.
What?
I believe, just from this. So, like, if you just look at the miniature here.
Okay, convince me.
He's got the Blood Angel's knife. It literally has the Legion number and the blood drop. The armor is red, of course. He's got that beautiful, archaic-looking bolt gun, all right?
Mm-hmm.
His power armor does not have a backpack. It doesn't have the power pack. That is a regular backpack, all right? That is a knapsack and a bedroll. All right, looking at this, I firmly believe Games Workshop is leaning on the idea that although he is Astartes, he is not a full Astartes.
As a scout.
I think he's a scout.
So that's what I said in our Dramatis Persona
Yeah.
episode, because if you look at the artwork of him, the blade he has on his hip in the artwork is a scout's blade.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm with you on that. I do believe he's probably a scout, but he's still grown and developed into a big old monster of a being.
I think he's been eating Goliath.
Yeah, it's just like these have the tastiest bits on them. I want to see this miniature in scale against a regular guardsman, against the Goliath. I want to see, because I don't quite grasp exactly how big he is at the moment. I believe it looks like probably 28, maybe 32 mil base. If it is, and
I think it's a
definitely
32
not.
mil base.
Let's call it a 32. He's taken up that whole base.
Yep.
In just the width of the miniature. And this model, like so many times, we talk about how a model can be drawn into Necromunda. This model, every Chaos Space Marine player needs to have one of these. You know, I think it's the Cornate Jackals. They have like a big lad in the unit. Perfect for it.
Dude.
Chaos Cultists, perfect for it. Veteran Chaos Space Marines, perfect for it.
But this is perfect for. Do you remember in was it the Black Crusade campaign, the Eye of Terror Codex, where you could have the cultists led by an aspiring champion?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Build a gang up around that. Build a gang up around this. Because we know, obviously, Chaos Space Marines don't do recruitment the same sort of way. It's less recruitment, more club you in the head and you're a heretic now, buddy. But what's to say they haven't taken a guy from a penal colony and basically jammed some gene seed into him and done these surgeries and getting him closer and closer and closer to becoming an actual Astartes. And then they're saying, but before you prove yourself, you've got to go do a few things for us. This miniature is perfect for it. And even because he's a blood angel, he's halfway to heresy already. They're a pack of filthy mutants, as you would call them. I personally believe mutants are people as well. But you can look at this. This model is ready to go for massive numbers of gangs. Goliath, here you go. Corpse Grinder cults, here you go. Like you said, Chaos Cultists, here you go. You notice everything I've said has a slightly chaotic tinge. That's right, Blood Angels players, you've been lied to.
Oh
but
my
Nathan,
God. I was giving the opportunity to wind that back because I was going to bring it back there. You're a filthy heretic. Shut your mouth. The Blood Angels deserve the utmost amount of loyalty, for they are the most loyal. They just have little snafus, little bitey.
snafus.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got a young child. Occasionally he bites me, and I go, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Bad. Just go do something good then."
Nope.
That's what the Blood Angels are like.
The moment one of my children is going to bite me, and if it does happen, it never will, because my children have been taught you don't bite each other. Why? What happens? You become a servitor. I'm just gonna hit them with a TV remote and be like, "You're a servitor now. You stand in the corner and you change the channel when Daddy needs it." No,
I thought you were going to do the Iron Warriors
that.
thing, where you're just like, okay, well, the weakest one will perish, so I'll make everybody in the family fight, and only the 9 out of 10 will survive. The other thing you could use this for is an alpha legionary, for sure.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I think you drop the head, or just get rid of the angriness in the face, and it's a perfect alpha legionary even in a Necromunda campaign.
Yep.
How cool would that be?
Yep. I would love to
fit
see this in a
absolutely
Red
beautiful.
Corsairs warband. I would love to see this in, like you said, leading a Jackals squad, or that new Jackals kill team, or this model is one of those ones that just goes, hey, anything in 40k, I have a place in. And Vandoth the Fallen has joined a very, very small list of models that can go anywhere.
Yeah, and I'll say one last thing. I can't wait again to see the 360 of this. I think we only have the one photo of him at the moment.
Just this one for the minute, yeah.
Yeah, I really want to see all the little details, all the little moments that they're trying to show his heritage. Like, oh, he has this particular rebreather, or he has this particular bit of war gear or armor on him. And that is a representation from this period of time and when this character was on this planet. So, yeah, I can't wait to see the 360, and I can't wait to get my hands on the miniature, actually. It's actually one of those ones that is going to be buy as soon as available, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
Can't wait to
Vandolph
grab
really
it.
just wants to see anything that isn't this.
He sees the little eye holes. Maybe that's why he's so angry all the time. But the simple thing is, all he's got to do is take it off. But he just hasn't worked that bit out yet. It's too much Goliath blood.
Too much Goliath.
Right, before we get stuck too long on poor Dum Dum Vandolph, let us move to our next set of miniatures, our next releases. And this one is close to my heart, totally. I'm stoked about it. It is the Mechanicum Knights for Legions Imperialis. Beautiful looking miniatures. Anybody out there who is not playing Imperialis and you haven't had access to the actual miniatures themselves in your hot little hands, the details are just ridiculous. And these are just winding it right up. You look at the arm mounts, and especially that what cannon is that one? That's the I'm trying to think of the name of it. The Volkite? Yeah, it's a Volkite. I believe it's a big, like, heavy Volkite type cannon. The cabling detail in that is just ridiculous.
So these are the Questoris variants, the Megara and Styrex. Yep. And the Megara is equipped with a lightning cannon, and the others are equipped with the Rending Hecaton Siege Claw. And then the Styrex is armed with a Volkite Chiravil. It deflagrates flesh and strips shields. That's just a lot of words, I believe, for Dead Killy.
They just threw a Scrabble board onto a table and went, that makes a word. That makes a word.
Yep.
Sure. I've got 7,220 points. I win this game of Scrabble and the next 400. That Volkite weapon, the details on the cabling and all that, just brilliant. And I was speaking to one of our listeners a while ago now, and about taking this stuff and using it in 40k, using it in Necromunda. Because there's such beautiful details in the small scale miniatures, they transpose beautifully into anything into 40k. So you want a shoulder mounted weapon, or you just want to add some details, some gubbins to a Mechanicum member, or even a Space Marine, or a Guardsman, or whatever the case might be. These add a beautiful amount. But the miniatures themselves, don't escape that, for Legions Imperialis plays. These are fantastic. We're starting to look at some real iconic miniatures coming through now. Yeah. Some stuff that really defines the army that they're fighting for. And we know that's coming on the horizon for Imperialis, and all the Imperialis players are itching for it. We know we're going to get specialist infantries and Legion-specific things and all these other little bits. And this is the cracking of the door for it. This is where we're just starting to see, and we're starting to see these knights, and you're just like, wow, full-blown plastic kits, and they look absolutely bonkers. Like, and they're so easy to incorporate into your army as well. You're not having to, take hundreds of points worth of other additions just to be able to get access to these. You can quite easily roll them into your army, which is it's an awesome thing to do. And I personally probably will add them, mainly because they look good. I don't know what they do yet.
I want them for bits, like what you said before. Like, I would love to do a bunch of them as sort of like, I know the scale's a little bit off, but to do them as sort of like armor plating for gangers or sort of smaller gangers and that sort of thing. But
no, they work. They work.
No, I've got a couple of the knight arms. Yeah, no, they're massive size. I have the knight fists and I've used them as power fists on some and power claws on some of my Orlocks and my enforcers. But just the weapons and that are perfect for bionic implants or, like you said, shoulder mounted weapons and that. I grabbed a couple of them off you that I'm going to use for some of my Vansar Tech Hunters when I get back around to them. Like the Imperialis miniatures are, I think at the moment, a little bit of an untapped resource.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that being said, also once I get my 26 done and then my next arc Ramunda gang and then that sort of stuff, I've got to start playing Imperialis with you, and I'm basically I'm just going to buy a bunch of knights and just be like,
absolutely.
that's it. I'm just going to show that's all I'm going to do. Oh, just hit my microphone. Just got to stand there doing this.
It's a great battle plan. The other thing I'll say is when I look at the Imperialis stuff, I see them as like the right size to be familiars for not necessarily the knights, but like the dreadnoughts and stuff. Like a little familiar that, I don't know, maybe a chaos sorcerer or what are they called?
Like Iron Warrior Warpsmith.
Oh, an Iron Warrior Warpsmith would have one of these. It's like I fashioned this little thing.
Yeah, a little
it's
clockwork
cute,
monster.
But it hurts. Yes, and it's just brilliant. Or what are they called? The ones who ride the bat.
Lord Discordance.
Lord Discordance. Having something like this that's just running along with the Lord Discordant,
yep.
Scouting forward for him, or just being generally annoying, like his version of a Nurgling, who's just like going around hunting rats and stuff like that. Just like
little mechanical Nurglings.
Yeah. That's what I see these as. I mean, they're probably, the problem is they're about 28 mil almost, this size, but the Dreadnoughts are about like half that size. So you could definitely do something with that.
They'd be like hip height on a person, like on a ganger.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
they'd be lower than hip height on a marine.
Well, there's Jericho, and there's a Dreddy. See? Oh wait, my hand's in the way. Just wait. Here we go. What are we doing, boss?
Oh, that's actually
I do that way too much
great.
with my miniatures.
They'd be like kind of like the Tech Mites.
Yes, there we go. Perfect. Oh. These would be great Tech Mites and things like that.
They would be great stand-ins for the Vansar Cyberarachnids.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, the AdMech actually have like the big claw machines.
Yeah, they've got the claw ones.
They're probably too big for a cyberarachnid, but as a cyberarachnid like Broodmother or adult or something like that.
Those scuttling spiders in the is it Gothrel's Needle that has democracy?
The voting spiders.
They just come, they kick in the door and they're just like, time to vote.
For those who don't know, you've got to go listen to our Gothrel's Needle episode, which is, I don't know off the top of my head,
like
episode
it's like Hive Life
12. It's Hive Life 1 or 2. You find it, you'll enjoy it. We love it. It's one of our
Start
favourite
at the beginning,
episodes.
listen all the way through, you'll get there.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next miniatures.
Let's move on. Well, we are bringing it back to Necromunda with this one here, and we have a pair of Abyssal Ferrymen. I'm gonna say something that I'm gonna jump onto like a combative argument with you straight away.
Okay. Yep. Pretty
That
standard.
squat is absolutely one of my favourite Necromunda miniatures to date.
Okay. You're right, this is combative because I don't actually like these miniatures. I think they're abysmal. Yes. We can't have awkward silence.
You can't. I'm
High five. Well done.
I will high five you. I forgot that people can't see me because they would be able to see the heartbreak in my eyes. So that's Hagthor, and he is one of the few Ironhead squats to survive the destruction of the fortress at Yardlin. And
is he really? That's cool.
Yep. So
that's really awesome.
He's actually in a bad way. And his partner in crime there is Asta. So they work together, sort of leading people in and out of Hive Secundus and the Secundan Abyss, and basically just helping them get all sorts of loot and gubbins. And just look at it. Look at the details, the little
Yeah.
chronometers. I'm picturing he's wearing all of them to help track like the time distortions in the Secundan sort of behind the wall. You
Yes,
know,
bro.
he's got that classic sort of, you look, he's got the classic layered armor of old
Yeah.
school squats under there. You know,
Is
he just has
but
just a
hasn't
giant wrench.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. Hasn't Astor got similar sort of armor? Am I seeing that? Like it's almost like
Yeah, it
a,
is.
a like a
Like a
bodysuit to be able to survive
almost
those regions.
like a boiler suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to be both wearing the same thing. Does he have one of those cool little masks that she's carrying? It doesn't seem to be.
If we go
But
back one more, it doesn't look like he does.
again, we want the 360. I want to see
Yeah.
why he needs such a stupidly large backpack. We also want to know what kind of gun
That's actually
that
a
is.
very small backpack. He is a squat.
On a Goliath, it's like a little, little over-the-shoulder bag.
But yeah, the gear on him, like the monocles, the chronometers, like I love it. He's proper sort of wasteland fashionista.
Yeah, so do you know what I see when I first saw these two? They have like a tinkerer sort of vibe to them. Little bits and
That's the
bobs
word I'm
hanging
looking
off them.
for. Yep.
Yeah, and they just look like they collect things and they whatever can make their life easier, better. But also like little bits and bobs that are just significant, maybe for only a short period of time, but they are significant for that period of time, and they just go, yeah, this works for me now, but there's other little bits and bobs on there that have to work. It's almost
Yes.
like the DeLorean. This is going to be a really weird reference, but when you look at the DeLorean and it has all these buttons and things and everything on it, and the dock, this is Back to the Future reference for those who don't know. And when they go to use it, they've got to push all these buttons and flick all these levers and stuff like that. That's the way I see these guys like operating their chronos. Like, okay, this is going to be set to this time, and like punching all these different things and twisting dials. Okay, we're set. We're not going to lose track of time or where we are, or where our place to exit is. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but I will say with you, I do love the squat miniature as well. Just to wind back to that,
Excellent.
because it looks like a traveller, It
Yes.
looks like it's trying to find his way, its way, whatever the case might be. Not necessarily back to a point, but back to an understanding of how to survive now in this new necromunda for itself.
Well, it's interesting that you actually said they're tinkerers, because Asta literally has a special rule based around that. It's called endless innovation. It says there in Warhammer Community, Asta makes use of an armor rig known as the Harpy, to which she makes extensive modifications, safe in her knowledge that Hagthor will keep it running, no matter how outlandish the tweaks. Her mind is a source of endless innovation, and she frequently turns his hand to fine-tuning vehicles when part of a ferryman team. So he literally is a vehicle tinkerer.
Yeah,
He's a tinkerer mechanic. She's got one of the chronometer or chronometer. She's got one as well. She's got one. They're both wearing the matching jumpsuits. They're like two extra members of the band Slipknot, and they just don't realize yet.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I'm blown away by these miniatures, and the quality that we're seeing with the Necromunda miniatures just seems to be scaling up ridiculously at the moment. I don't know what it is. There must be something in the water over in England, but the quality just keeps getting better and better and better. And not to say that it was bad to begin with, but there was sort of a starting point. You go, oh yeah, that looks pretty cool. You guys are doing really good. Can you go much further?
You're doing better,
The answer is
and you're doing
yes.
better, and you're doing better.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. I guess we'll move on to our next one. I'll do this one. Why not?
It's more of your brand new favorite game there, isn't it?
It is. It is more Legions Imperialis, the Mechanicum heavy support. So this is our which tanks? These is the Krios Squadron and the Pulsar Fusils. I know Kiros Venators as well. So these are the big guns. We actually spoke about them in our previous video, previous monthly video, but that was for 30k.
That was for 30k, and whereas these
Yeah.
ones are basically the same thing for Imperialis.
Yes, yeah, and I'm loving what's happening with the releases now with 30k and 40 and Imperialis. There is sort of a bit of a synergy in terms of like, oh, we have this. How about we transpose it into both games like almost in at the same time as each other. So that's something that's coming on quite beautifully. Again, these miniatures, just putting them in your Imperialis force, adds so much punch, so much weight, but they're so different in their aesthetic and design that they are able to really look quite different to, obviously look quite different to your Solar Auxilia and to your Space Marines. So they're really going to stand out. They don't necessarily have to be red to stand out. They've got enough tiny details. They've got enough of a unique aesthetic that they're going to make your army pop by just having a small element of these in the force, like just an allied formation.
It's obvious, like, but just the level of technology available to the Mechanicus or Mechanicum at this point is just so ridiculously different. I mean, look at that one. This one, it is what variant was this one here?
This is the. Bear with me, sir. I'm looking for it. This is the the Krios Venators. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So these have the pulsar fusils. So the read here is that these are relatively short range weapons, and they transform the mobile Krios chassis into a high speed tank hunter. So this is like up close, strip your armor and your shields away. Good luck. Have a lie down in a rubble pile.
like it's a silly thing to say, but just technologically, the Adeptus Mechanicus or Mechanicum are just so much further ahead than every other faction in the Horus Heresy. Like, the things they have available to them are terrifying, and it's so good to see these weapons becoming available in these different game systems.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think they almost still give an air of like a bit of Dark Age of technology style.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not quite there. It's obviously quite a stretch of time, but because they look so different, because they're so devastating, and they don't have that sleekness that the Marines have, and
Yeah.
they don't have that like, but they also don't have that sort of agricultural, mundane look that the Solar Auxilia have. They're a cross between over the top, ostentatious, sort of too much design going on, but also incorporating some stupid weaponry. But aside from that, they are great little familiars for an AdMech army, or tech mites. I'm hooked on making these things familiars, mate, or little things like that.
Like the what was it in Space Hulk? The cat.
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
and even the Navy breaches have one of those, like a little
Yeah,
cat type
yeah.
unit. Yep. But imagine one of these on the back of a Adeptus Mechanicus tank, but it's a repair tank that actually just travels along the hull. Little arm out, just goes fix up little bits of
Yes.
damage and so forth. So you strip the guns off it and you make it like a little automated servitor. Maybe they've got like
Yep.
a tiny mouse brain and put it in there instead, or
Yep.
it's linked to the servitor, and so it travels around and says repair done to X panel. It goes there, zap zap zap, tap tap tap, and then
Yeah.
drives back to its little hidey hole inside the dune crawler. Yeah, all right, it'll be cool. It's a great idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. So what were these next tanks here? These, I know we talked about these for 30k. These biggeroonies.
Oh, so this is the Crancross Assault Tank Squadron.
That's right.
So,
Interchange of the missiles. That's right.
well, yeah, it's a radiological mortar battery. So it's basically, you know, rad mortar rounds. So, and the read here is just horrendous. Created to help soften up the core of biological enemy forces ahead of the primary assault. Soften up the core of biological forces. In other words, rad poison and rad kill anything that's not in a protected suit.
As a proud son of the House of Van Sar, I
Yeah.
take insult to such statements, sir.
I just think it's a horrible way of describing a horrendous act that the Mechanicum are doing. They're just going, here, hold on to these for me. You are
All's
not going to
fair
enjoy
in
it.
love and war.
Especially if you're a robot that doesn't care.
Yes, sir.
Righto.
They want to get rid of the biological components so they can take everything that's left.
Yeah, exactly. And but just the way it's written, soften up the biological, the
If there's
core
no
biological
victim, there's
element.
no crime.
Oh my word. We should move on to the next miniature. We can't endorse that statement in any way, shape, or form.
Well, we're about to, literally by going on to the next miniatures, because there's no victims if you eat the corpses, and we are heading to the old world where we are seeing the re-release of the Beastmen Bray Herds. Now, yes, we are talking about revealing new miniatures here. And we're not going to sit too much on this, obviously, because the majority of these are sort of re-released kits, but especially with the new abhuman rules that also include Venators, I just think this is such a great time for these miniatures to be re-released, because now, I've been digging through my bits boxes trying to find bits of Ungor and all of that sort of stuff there, just trying to get some bits to make some abhumans for my Necromunda 26, and then Games Workshop turn around and go, oh hey, the Beastmen are coming back, the Ungors, the Bestigors, all of them. Like, we are going to see. I can't wait to get this guy and to give him a pair of chain axes.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Chain axes, do like
Yes.
some like mesh armor around him. Replace so sort of the left leg there that's got the sort of armor plating. Put like
Yeah.
some of the Goliath armor plates over that instead.
Yeah, yes.
Just 40k up the armor just a little bit, and that is going to be.
But you don't need to do too much. You know what I mean? They are still beastmen. So
Oh yeah,
rolling around in chainmail and like a leather shirt over that chainmail, that would be completely acceptable within the realms of Necromunda or 40k for that.
Yeah.
Well, Necromunda specifically. Yeah. No, I'm super excited to see these miniatures get a new lease of life, just because they are going to be making their way into Necromunda gangs, into potentially, heretical Astra Militarum armies and so forth. And just a quick mention out to, what are they called? You might be able to help me out here. There's a couple of the big beasties, the big nasties that are coming back. One we know is the Jabberslith, right?
yep.
And there's a couple of monsters that I think are going to really fit nicely into fantasy. Oh no, sorry, into fantasy, into Necromunda.
Yeah, so you
So-
had the Cockatrice, the Jabberslith, and the Praeton.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. The
So those
Praeton
monsters-
it's horrific.
Yeah, they're brilliant looking monsters. They can add a different element to your campaigns of Necromunda.
Yeah.
Because they are going to be the big bad.
Yes. Oh yes.
And even the cockatrice, like I unfortunately don't have the image of it, but the cockatrice, like old Papa Zinch is saying, yes, I'll recruit me one of them. Yeah, perfect. That looks like
That's how he sounds. That used to be a sheen bird. Not anymore.
Not anymore. No,
Boom.
that's
There's your idea. Cawdor gang was worshipping this Sheen bird. Big Daddy TZ, gets in there and goes, oh, lo, 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 lo. All of a sudden, this Cawdor, they're heretical. They're following their enormous Sheen bird. Now their image of the God Emperor.
Right.
That's
Painted
a good
golden.
campaign.
Painted golden. It's the gold. It's a golden eagle that has come to show them the correct way, and all it's really doing is corrupting
baby,
them.
boom, done.
Beautiful.
And they do the Cawdor in those really rich blues and yellows that Zinchian armies
And lots of gold on them as well, like fake gold, but it's still gold.
Yeah, it's like gold plated.
Yeah, gold plated. Yeah. Or just sprayed gold.
Sprayed
just
gold.
Close enough. Yeah.
They're all carrying gold spray cans.
Yeah, it's like just got to top up. The other half of the release though is the Wood Elves.
Yes.
I'm excited for it just because I'm an Old World fan as well. Again, one of those releases that we look at and we're like, yes, we cannot wait to see them return. They have their place, but I believe they didn't receive any new miniatures in this run. In saying that, it was one of the best ranges in Old World before.
Back in Warhammer
vanished.
Fantasy.
Back in Warhammer Fantasy,
Yeah.
one of the best ranges. Like you couldn't fault any of their core units and their specialist units. They just every time they got a release, the aesthetic was on point. So you can sort of understand why there's been no desire to have to add X, Y, and Z units to them. So
I always wanted to
brilliant
do an
stuff.
army of Dryads. I've always loved the Dryad models.
Yeah,
Is it
again.
the Dryads and they've got like all the branch wraiths and they've got like the skulls.
Branch Wraiths like their Lord Hero Choice type thing.
Yeah.
And Dryads are the unit.
Yeah. I honestly, when we get around to doing some Old World, I've got to do my Chaos, and I've got to do Bretonnians, and then I've got to do Tillians.
Yeah.
Sort of like Dogs of War in general.
Yeah.
I can definitely see myself doing even just a small force of Wood Elves. I'm pretty sure you can do allies in the Old World.
I actually don't know. I've because I've got such a large Orc and Goblin force, I want to get back to using that so that I'm not even looking at any kind of alliances and so forth. But very excited for this release, just for the Old World players, and to dabble some stuff into Necromunda as well. So,
Do we want
take us on.
to talk about a little bit more Old World?
I was about to say that. Let's move into the main meal of the Old World for this
Big
release.
Mamma Jamma.
The big Mamma Jamma, yes.
I personally didn't see this coming. I thought it was going to be Mordheim. I thought they were going to...
And you said that to me? Yeah.
I thought they were going to release Mordheim.
Yeah.
And I still would have been blown away by Mordheim, but I would have been nowhere near as shocked as I was for them to announce this.
Yes.
A brand new faction in the Old World, or even back in Fantasy. We have Cathay.
Cathay. Brilliant. Brilliant miniatures. Like, I can honestly say, playing them in Warhammer Total War 3, I was like, yeah, they're all right. But seeing them in miniature form is something so completely different about the army. It just feels different. It looks cooler. And this is where I think miniature games win over like computer games sometimes.
Yeah.
Being able to hold something in your hand and go, that's a representation of my army.
Yeah.
But getting into it, the Jade Warriors and the Jade Lancers, first and foremost, the base infantry and the base cavalry, mate, they are phenomenal. Those Jade Warriors, I was speaking to another friend of mine recently about them, and I was just saying, imagine if we had this quality of infantry back in the Old World.
You were talking to
Warhammer
me
Fantasy
about
days.
this.
Oh, well, I'll probably mention it to you as well. I've said it to everybody who's going to listen to me. I think there's something about them. It's just that they rank up. They look really good ranked up. They don't look boring ranked up. Like, you don't just see a wall of shields, even amongst the swordsmen.
No.
Like, the different heads, the different faces, there it is. I don't know. I'm struggling to describe it because all I'm describing is a ranked up unit, but they look beautiful. They look
So
so good.
I'll repeat what I said to you when you and me had this conversation. The difference between the Jade Warriors here versus, for example, Empire Spearmen
Yep.
or Cities of Sigma Steel Helms or Bretonian Men at Arms or anything like that. All those other units, you look at them and you go, okay, you're a unit of state troops, or you're a militia, or you are people fighting for your homes and whatever. That's cool. These are professional, well drilled, well armored, and well maintained warriors. And they
Yeah.
look like warriors. Every single one of these Jade Warriors is their whole existence is combat, and that comes out by, like you said, the stance, the way they look, the way their armor is together, the way that even though, like, all of those swordsmen have their sword, obviously, but all of those spearmen have a sword with them as well. So
Yeah.
if you get too close, they go straight into it. Like, you look at the Empire State Troops, and I've talked about Riders of the Dead in the past. One of my absolute favourite Black Library books ever, and there's a spearman who has a tiny little knife. It's it's the weapon of last resort of Empire Spearmen. The weapon of last resort for these warriors would be the same, but they have three weapons between their main armament, and
Yeah.
that knife. They have the
Yeah.
spear, they have the sword, they have the shield, then they have the knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or everyone else seems to be a pale comparison in comparison to
Yeah.
anything from Cathay. I mean, just look at these lances.
Can I just
Everything.
before we jump too quickly onto the lances?
Yep.
From the previous image, there's one thing that you need to notice is that the swordsmen, all their scabbards are empty.
Yep.
Well, the spearmen have all got their swords in their scabbards.
They're all their swords are still
What-
there, and it's one
What a
kit.
beautiful detail. Just so fantastic. Thank you so much for the miniature designer who said, well, they've drawn their swords. They need to be pulled out of these scabbards. And it's not just a hidden away scabbard that you don't see or just like, oh yeah, they'll mount their weapon somewhere else. You get to have the idea of them drawing all their weapons at one time. Beautiful. But let's move on to the lances. The lances for me are such a fantastic kit. The movement of the cavalry, and I've said it before, they are able to rank up and look so wonderful together. And not just in a single baseline of 5. We're talking about, it's a double stack of cavalry, and yet they still look like they're thundering forward.
Yep.
Fantastic looking unit because of that captured movement that they have, because of the small details that help exemplify the champion, the standard bearer, and the drummer, the musician. I honestly want to see this unit painted up in multiple different styles. I think there's so much you can make and draw out with them. Brilliant miniature making. To the core fundamental of it, it is some brilliant design and some brilliant miniature making that is just, let's face the facts, is almost unrivaled. The fact that these cavalry look like they're just about to hit the enemy line.
Yep.
And yet they all rank up beautifully. And there is a case for some people saying, oh, well, they've only got like single poses. When they look this good, who cares?
You don't need
Let them be.
multiple poses. You can customize your command squad within the unit. Your champion, your standard bearer, your musician. You'll have a shield bearer in. I guess you'd call them shield bearers. You'd have like a secondary sort of NCO within the unit if you sort of combat squad them or whatever. I'm using all these 40k terms, but
no, but you like even in a unit of 10, there's still going to be a corporal who takes over if the unit leader dies or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, you can do customization at that level because, once again, Cathay, unlike a lot of places, these are professional soldiers. They will have ideas for what they're going to do if something bad happens. If the leader of your squad dies, they are going to know who steps up and takes control next. Like, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
one
Like,
hundred percent.
everything
Very,
about
very,
the look of the Cathay range is professionalism.
very much like the zombie hordes as well. There's like a very a definitive structure of command within it. I agree. All right, let's move on to the next one because I've wanted to say something about this one.
All right,
All
go.
right. Okay. So you're building artillery for the 26th. Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm just like, so now I need an Ogren loader for something.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the what is it? The Cathayan Grand Cannon is just dumb. It's awesome. Like the size of the cannonball is silly beyond silly, and you've got the old grandpa pulling it along on a little like a one-wheeled trolley thing, or is he carrying the gunpowder? I don't know what he is. And then you've got the ogre loading it. For any ogre players out there, mate, that goes straight into your man-eater unit straight away.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
take him on board straight away. But just how bonkers that cannon looks, like the dragon head, is so wonderful. You know.
It's so over the top stylized.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just ridiculous. But if you go to the next image of the Fire Rain rocket battery, right?
Yeah.
This goes into a guard army, and it is, it is a donation as part of their tithe from House Ty to House Grime for them sending the 26th off-world.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is the House Ty Fire Rain rocket battery, or one of the new guard artillery pieces.
Well, we haven't mentioned it at all yet, but yeah, I'm so glad that Games Workshop released a whole range for House Tie. Like, just weirdly enough, right after we started talking about them.
Again,
Basically,
they're listening
yeah.
to us.
And I mean, you know what? Like, I'm going to step away from the cannons real quick. But the House Tie Noble on wasted dirt bike model that they released.
Yeah.
Just
I know exactly
phenomenal.
what you're
Like, and I picked this pose on purpose because look at the movement in that cape.
Yeah. It's very reminiscent of the size of the Emperor doing a turn on the spot from the Astartes 2 trailer. That's quite a famous turn. This model, bonkers. Like, and again, put it in Necromunda. Who cares? It's your big bad boss from House Ty. He's been the nasty overlord and has some weird alien exodite creature that he rides around on.
Oh, that's something we haven't even thought of mentioning yet. That is a great basis for some exodites for Eldar. Like, you get this, you get maybe an Autark kit. Oh, that would be cool.
You could definitely incorporate a lot of the armor from Cathay across into Eldar armies, but I think more so like House Ty. Absolutely. So the two cannons are just stunning. Like they capture the army so well. The Shugengan Lord, I think that's the pronunciation, on the Great Spirit Longma, is just a fantastic looking miniature. I kind of want to see, I don't know, I kind of want to see that as a Slaaneshi beast as well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I think it would fit beautifully.
You could do some cool Ash Waste Nomads.
Oh, yes.
Sort of noble exiles. Remember all those nobiles? All those nobles that got exiled out into the wastes, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
What's to say some of them didn't leave with some off-world beasties that they'd purchased, or if they had the
Yeah.
skill to maybe grow others while they were out there,
Mm.
or maybe they just started trading with some cold traders, and they were like, "Hey, you're out here. Walking out here sucks. Uh, Everyone hates you already. Why not ride a Xenos beastie?" Like,
Exactly. If they don't like you, make them really not like you. Make the
yeah,
ecclesiarchy come after you. Make the Auto Hereticus and the Auto Xenos come after you. They'll come and stomp you out for this nonsense. At least you'll be famous when you go. Yeah, so I guess we'll move on to the next part of the range, because there's two miniatures in here that I really want to get to. So, and it's not these two. They're very good, and the Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities, fantastic, very good. You've got a banner, you've got a horse, you've got a shield. I'm really happy for
very
you.
reminiscent of the Empire Captain kit. Remember, you had
Yeah,
the lion helm. You could have
yeah, yeah.
the standard. Yeah.
So the standout for me on these miniatures is the banner top. I love that. The small little stylized dragon, beautiful part of it. Really nice. Also the helmet on the standard bearer, especially the standard bearer's helmet is just
Yeah.
tip top. Okay, let's get to it.
Like,
The miniature.
I'm taking this one. All right. So, as we're getting into this miniature here, Scummers, my co-host, I will say, is honestly he's one of, if not my best friend, and
Yes.
we've been doing this show for almost 2 years, and we've become better friends as time's gone by, and yeah, like it's great, Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. Couldn't have said it better myself.
And I made one comment about thinking the Air Guild were guys maybe floating around the wastes, doing like taxi services and zeppelins. And this is how I know for fact that people at Games Workshop listen to us, because one of them has heard the horrible comments that you made to me that episode. And
No,
they
I
sat
just
there
said,
and they went, "Spamuel, we got you, bro." And they have given me a goddamn Necromunda Ash Wastes Zeppelin. Look at it!
it is fantastic. Do you know the first thing that popped into my head, though, when I saw this miniature? I was like, firstly, how did they get the transfer onto the balloon part of it, or the...
Oh
I don't
my
know.
god,
Or
right?
did somebody paint that?
Oh,
And
I
either
think
way,
someone painted it.
no, that is bonkers. That is bonkers. If it is painted, amazing works, madam, whatever. If it is a transfer, still, it's a transfer on such a difficult surface, because it's got ridges. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing this hobby a long time. I would struggle to get that on there. So, but it is. Look at that miniature, man. Look at it. It is something otherworldly for us.
But then,
Like even the Caradon airships and stuff like that, they just don't have this. There's a majesty about this. There's a
Yes.
subtlety about this as well. It remove the cannons, the guns, and all that, and it's just a hot air balloon to go out and do some sightseeing.
yep.
They've utilised it for war, and ticks all the boxes. And I will say, the colour selection for this miniature has just been on point.
Just look how
Ridiculously good.
busy it is in there, though.
Yes, yeah.
There
The
are
next lot
so
of
many
pictures.
components.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm already seeing some guilders in there,
Yeah.
or like, you got a pilot, and then you have a guilder sniper,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're just patrolling the routes, and they see Ashwaste nomads or outlaws, or maybe a rogue Grox, and they pull out that long rifle and just pop it and just be like, "Yep." Send word to, because they're ahead of the convoys or whatever. Send word to the convoy, pick that up. That's dinner tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's
We'll throw a few bombs around it or whatever, just to, like, I don't know, scare it in the right direction or whatever the
yeah.
case might be. But when you talked about the miniatures on the inside, these all belong in a Necromunda marketplace. You know,
Oh, every
they're,
single one of them.
so even the cannon crew previously that we looked at, the other than the ogre, they all look like proper just regular civilians. So the guys inside the little ship here all look like proper civilians.
Yep.
They're not really geared out for war like the way the Jade warriors were, or the Jade Lancers, or whatever the case might be. Everybody else looks almost like a civilian that's being rounded up to do this. Do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
that aspect to them allows them to be transplanted into a less combative environment, like a marketplace, like a town in the old world somewhere. They have this, I don't know, subtleness about them. They have this almost peacefulness about them. The guy holding the big gun, he looks like he's having a laugh.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
he's
like,
loving
hey.
life.
Yeah, yeah. Even the bloke like lighting the two bombs. Who cares? He could just be holding a big pipe, smoking that, and a couple of bevies in each hand. About to serve them up.
Oh, yeah, but
That's where you
you
take that miniature.
you adjust that cannon. You move that cannon. You just replace that with a las cannon or a heavy stubber. You
Yeah.
replace those bombs with more 40k looking bombs. You have a small antenna off the side where instead of the head of that dragon, like you have so
Yeah.
many options of just simple conversions, and you have a totally different miniature.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I'm with you on that.
I love this. I need, I need like three of them, and
Is this to validate your statement that the
just to
Eagle
validate
Giant
my
Airship?
statement, I'm gonna paint them up like a. I'm gonna paint them up like a. One of them just like a 1-3 cabs, which is a cab company here in Australia, and just have on the side, like what, 1-3 cabs.
Yep, yep.
Or I want to build like a tower and have one of them there, and just almost like a terrain piece where it's just tethered onto this tower,
Yeah, yep.
and yeah, like that'd be sick. And then
I
one would
love the
just be
idea.
like a guild representative. You just like
Yeah.
can rub it in. But the number of people who messaged me when this was revealed, just being like, dude, it's here. They've justified you. And it's like, ooh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. Justify me. Thank you, Mr. Workshop. Thank you.
Yeah.
His friends
I
call him
think
James. I call him Jiminy. Jiminy, thank you, buddy. Good listening to your best friend here.
okay. I'll let you and James have that relationship. Let's move
fine.
on to the final release from the Cathay release, which
Yeah,
is the
the big
Cathayan
boy.
Sentinel.
He is monstrous. Like
So I have
I don't want
heard,
to know about that base size.
I've heard heresy. People have said to me, "Is it too big?" And what I say to them is, "Shut your face."
No, there's no
No.
such thing as too big.
Yeah, this is not a creature. This is not something that is born or that was formed by the chaos gods or whatever. This was built by
Yeah.
the same individuals who can build airships and giant cannons and so forth. So they are going to build a giant dum size statue, and then
Yes.
it's going to come to life, and everybody's going to be high fiving. Fantastic, mate. Awesome miniature. And it's the type of stuff that the old world needs, like over the top big. It's okay to fully embrace the fantasy part of Warhammer Fantasy.
Yes.
You don't have to, the units don't have to look like they're an actual military. This thing doesn't look like it should belong on a battlefield, but lo and behold, there it is. And it is dumb sized. It looks brilliant. It's got good movement in the way that it looks going forward, and it looks like a statue come to life.
Yeah.
Tick,
Do you
tick,
think the
tick, tick,
orcs were
tick.
the only people making statues come to life and kill people? No.
The Cathayans learned it off the orcs, you know that.
No, the Cathayans knew it long before
No, they didn't.
the orcs
When
did, but
when one of their jade units was just getting pulverized by what they thought was the side of a cliff, they're just like, we need to learn how they did that because they're dumb and green and they are causing us some serious issues. Two things I want to say about this Cathayan Sentinel though. If you have knights, start to look towards this. Or if you want to make
yes.
a knight, start to look towards this. You want to make a demon prince, look towards this.
Ooh, this could be a really good Thousand Suns allied,
Oh, yes.
like Scout Titan.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah,
Scout
or
Knight.
just a knight. Knight, yeah.
Yeah, Knight, yeah.
Make it up as a knight. This is like, and it doesn't have to keep its arms. Like, strip the arms off, put shoulder mounted, put like, joint mounted weapons on the side there. Just go bonkers with it. Have fun. That's what this miniature looks like to me. It is have fun. But within the constraints of the old world, I think it's exactly
Phenomenal.
what needs to happen.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, but it needs to happen going forward. Like if they're going to bring out more and more old world miniatures, let's embrace the fantasy side of Warhammer Fantasy. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be that realistic. It's okay. Let's go.
Go
nuts.
dumb. Go dumb. Go
dumb.
crazy. Go. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see more of this. Let's see more just redonkulous things coming in. And if we are talking redonkulous and just like classic ideas of sort of like this Asian inspired sort of like fantasy kingdom of Cathay. The last thing that they did release, preview, is this gal right here.
Oh,
and this
yes.
is Miao Ying the Storm Dragon. So she is the eldest living daughter of the Dragon Emperor. And if she gets angry enough, she just turns into a giant freaking dragon. So, or is she just a dragon that gets relaxed enough and turns into a, like, floating badass who likes to hang out with rocks?
Yeah, exactly. That's her secret. She's dragoning all the time. It's like the Hulk. He's angry all the time. But, I'll explain it to you later. It's very similar to the airships.
Yeah. Very similar to the airships. No, this is another just bonkers fantasy miniature. Like they are phenomenal. I love using her in Total Warhammer 3. Because she turns into a dragon. But
no, it's a fun unit to use.
Yeah.
I will say the dragon is just beautiful though.
Oh yeah.
It does look like it's just about to sweep down with its left claw and just hammer a unit. Like, well done.
I love how totally different it is to the Imperial dragons or the Chaos dragons or the the Elf dragons. It just looks different. Like it's a different species.
Has no wings.
Has no wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a worm.
Does a bit of a dash more than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a tip-top miniature. I can't wait to see what actual size it is as well. Like there's been some comparisons when it's been sitting next to the armies and so forth, but it does look bonkers. And they both came along with tactical rocks, which is fantastic. Yeah.
I'm a huge
happy
fan
for
of
them
tactical
both.
rock. Yeah.
Who isn't?
All right. Let's shake off some of this old world. Let's bring it back to 40k. And finally, we're actually getting to talk about some of the good guys in 40k. Because everyone else in 40k has these like little personal missions and, I'm doing this for my... It's all very like self-centered. There's only one group that seems to be coming into the 40k universe and sort of the galaxy, wanting to bring true equality. They treat everyone the same. And I like to think, maybe the real Warhammer 40k is the planets we devoured on the way. And we are talking about the new kill team here. The set is Typhon. And obviously, we are about to see a whole mess of brand new They are Raveners. So it's an entire kill team of Raveners, and each of them is more horrific than the last. I have always thought Tyranids were sort of I don't know. I've always loved the story and the idea behind them. I've always found a lot of the smaller miniatures to be very monopose. Like they look
Yeah,
great in the
the little
horde, but
bugs.
there's no sort of super dynamic miniatures.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they drop these.
yeah.
Like,
And I
what the
totally agree with
hell?
you. The movement that they've captured just in the Raveners, like you've got it's the thermoscythe. I don't know if we're up to that picture actually, but
Yeah, the next one they. Oh, I mean,
yeah,
look at them. Oh,
yeah, the thermoscythe is bursting out of the ground, and they've captured that so well too. It just genuinely does look like it. Same with the Wrecker as well, bursting out. It's surprising how much individuality they've offered just by doing the heads differently.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look at each individual head, and you're just like, oh yeah, yeah, that looks like what its name implies. Do you know
Yeah.
what it should be? So even the Venom Spitter is like, yes, you're my little ranged Ravener, and then the Warrior, just the base standard, and you're just like, yeah, I can see these just like doing the job that they're designed to do. They are, however, not the good guys of the 41st millennium. Just let's clear that up. It is not a podcast belief or a channel belief. Hello?
How are people going to take us seriously if you say stupid things like that?
You're so aggressive when you lie. It's terrible.
But no, I agree with you. Like, I think this kill team is an amazing example of feeding on the lore we get from the Tyranids, where it will adjust the creation of each individual life to
Yeah,
suit
yeah.
a tiny particular little need it has.
Hmm.
Planet's real cold. All right, let's breed them with more body fat.
Yeah, yeah.
It's lava planet. Let's give them thicker armor plates and maybe less visible skin.
Hmm.
Need to get onto a planet filled with literally everyone else and do some murdering. Let's just send a fistful of Raveners and be like, YOLO.
Yeah. That is the dominatrix's main motto is YOLO.
Yeah.
But I like what you said there. This is showing that customization that we talk about all the time
Yeah.
in the lore with the Tyranids. And sometimes in 40k, in the broader sense, you don't get to see it. And this is where the kill team is beautiful for that. It can show us this is what they would do. They would say, we need a ranged unit. We need like a standard unit. We need this Wrecker who can destroy walls and thermoscythe, who's going to be able to do whatever a thermoscythe does.
It's thermo
And
and
then
scythes. I'm assuming it's got like
eternal.
hot claws.
Yeah, yeah. Just like stab, burn. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's great. That's a heat massage.
That's
And then
actually
you've
where
got
the word
prime
stubborn comes from.
from stabbing.
Stab, burn.
Oh, you did one. That's awesome. Yay! And then the felt helm, but exactly what I was saying. Like each one of these is what we hear about in the lore. The greater hive mind adjusting.
Yep.
Now we go into the second part of the kill team, though.
Which is, yeah, once again, a group that will see something and go, I can take what I already have and just adjust it to give it better use for me. But also, at the same time, being just the worst kind of people you can, because there is nothing more horrific than the members of this kill team.
Yeah, it is brutal.
That's right. Red robes. The red is just so 30k. Come on, let's see some blue robes. Let's see some green, some orange, maybe some 8-pointed stars. Come on, Adeptus Mechanicus, what are you doing? No, we are obviously then talking about another Imperial kill team there. This one here, the Adeptus Mechanicus and their servitors.
And not just a few servitors. There is a buttload of servitors in this.
Yes,
So
there is a
to the
literal
point,
buttload.
there's a servitor underseer. So obviously the techno archaeologist is the main bad or the main big boy of this gang, who then has an underseer who is just what I imagine is just like in control of all the servitors.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd say that's.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably what he does.
Yeah. Right. So there's only one real human in this gang then, in this kill team, and that is the techno archaeologist, because the servitor underseer looks nothing like a human at all, not even close. If that was coming at you in a hive street somewhere, you'd be like, kill it, it's a Xenos.
Kill it. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That's a Xenos. We need to make it murdered. It is a horrible thing to have on our planet. Unfortunately, it is a human, or used to be human, or is some sort of human relation that is then torturing our.
I've somehow clicked back and brought up the Inquisitor, not the Inquisitor, the Prophet. So
The Prophet, yeah, because he heard me talking about killing Xenos. He's like, I'll come back. This is my conversation. This is exactly what I want to hear.
What do you guys talking about?
Burning some heretics, wiping out some Xenos. I'm down. I'll
Okay.
do that every single day if I can.
What do you do?
No, so the servitors that are within the unit are just absolutely crazy themselves. So I think there's a couple of gun servitors, there's the breacher servitors, the technomedic servitor and auto proxy servitor, and the combat servitors. Now it's just kind of blitz through them, and the reason why I'm doing that is this is I don't know if this is the first time. For me, it's the first time where we're seeing so many different levels of servitor available to us. So we've got, specifically in the breacher servitor, the technomedic servitor and the auto proxy servitor. No idea what an auto proxy servitor does or what it looks like it should be doing. It looks like it's got a cattle prod. But the technomedic servitor I think it does exactly as the box says. It is a medic. It goes around and I want to say patches up the other servitors.
So it has like Band-Aids and WD-40.
Yes, exactly. And a combination of grease and blood infusion. So it's like, you need a little bit of grease in that one, but you need blood infusion in that wound because, my friend, you are in trouble. You've not only got a broken back, you've got a severed back. And then the breacher servitor. The breacher servitor I find really cool because it is so task specific. It's
So you got these are the gun servitors. I don't know what.
the gun servitors. And we're talking about Mechanicum, and we were a little bit offensive to them, so they gave us a bit of scrap code virus. Thank you, Mechanicum.
I would love to blame scrap code virus. In reality, I think it was probably just me not. I touched a button, and it was just like no.
No, the computer says no. Yeah, so the gun servitors are what we are probably most familiar with. But there is an element to these gun servitors. They are chunky. They're very, very hard looking.
Yeah.
I think the heavy bolter one might have been something that we've seen before.
I believe that heavy bolter one and then the techno archaeologist are from Blackstone Fortress. I want to say.
I think so. Yeah. I'm not 100%. Please let us know in the comments.
But that's also a perfect lugger servitor for your all lock gangs.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Boom. There you go. Done.
But what are the key element that I see from this miniature that I really love is his left hand. It's a really cool looking power fist.
It's just a big old fist.
It's a big old power glove, old school power glove.
Like the old for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah,
it's the glove. Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah. So both the gun servitors look like the things that we've always loved, and this is what I was going on about before: the breacher, the technomatic, and the auto proxy. These definitely the breacher I've never seen before, and the technomatic I've never seen before as well. So these are just, I don't know, they're sort of a little bit
cutter on the breacher. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
looks like actually it
he's
is.
cutting
Yeah.
bulkheads. He's cutting bulkheads and he's cutting bulkheads and armor plates.
Yeah, yeah. And he's
Yeah,
even got like a what looks like maybe even a little like oxy torch on his backpack as well. So
yeah.
these miniatures, they're a little bit slimmer than the actual gun servitors as well. So they're obviously designed for purpose. So they don't need to be as heavy or as chunky or take as many hits because the breacher servitor should never be getting shot at. That should just be
Yeah.
opening doors. The medic again shouldn't be shot at. The auto proxy, no idea what it does, but it whatever it does,
great.
I'm assuming it looks like it does a good job of it.
Yeah.
And then you've
Just
got the
bog standard combat servitors.
yes,
The meat and
again
potatoes of the warband.
exactly, and this is, I mean, but they're equipped a little bit differently to like the old school servitors with the big claws and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They've actually got like particular admech weaponry and then the actual fighting fist on the other side as well. So they're just they look like what we know and love. And again, it's another set of miniatures I really want to see the 360s on. I want to see what's going on around the back of them and so forth.
Yeah.
But the heads themselves, man,
Oh, dude.
they're good enough. Those heads are good enough to change the dynamic of whatever gang you put them onto.
Yep.
And instantly I think Vansar and Cawdor for these types. A Cawdor gang that is embracing the tenets of the Mechanicum as well as the Imperial cult. So it's sort of saying, yes, almost like the Iron Warriors mantra of the flesh is weak, saying, how can we serve the Emperor if we die from
Isn't that the Iron
things
Hands?
Yeah, Iron Hands.
You said
That's what I
Iron
said.
Warriors.
No, I corrected to Iron Hands, yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
No, Iron Warriors on the brain, buddy.
No, Iron Warriors, I believe their motto is, we did a wall thing and then we leave. Yeah. It's obviously for those who like that kind of thing. But these heads are good enough to really change the whole dynamic of whatever gang you're working on. So
It's not even just Mechanicus aligned. They've been like, slap it on an Orlock, and all of a sudden he's someone that's been, through absolute hell. He's been beaten to hell. He's been, his ash rig has exploded and he's crawled out and it's, just bare bone and no cheeks left. And he's just like, just rivet some plates to my face and I can keep going.
yeah.
Like,
Otherwise, I'm going to die out here. Unless you stop all this from falling away, I'm done.
make it like this.
Yeah. I don't
Vandoth
think
is
you
just
are.
like, nice.
Nice, bro. Nice. I mean, I just did that to you, but nice. I see where you're taking it. And so the next part of the Kill Team kit is the Tyranid infested terrain pieces.
Ooh, buddy. I hated these when I first saw them. I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie, because I'm just like, I love everything about this kit. And these just don't fit my idea of Necromunda terrain. And then I
Yep.
remembered it's not a Necromunda box, it's Kill Team. And then I remembered all boxes are Necromunda and immediately thought, no, because this is part of a dome that has just been reopened after millennium. And they were hot housing Xenos agricultural samples that had been smuggled onto the planet by some cold traders, and it's just started blooming and spreading. I would build these into Zone Mortalis walls where they were growing out of you take the floor pieces and you just buckle them up, so those spore towers were pushing out of the floor. You'd have pools of water, and it'd be insane. This would give you a reason to go nuts with soil and mud and water features and that sort of thing in your board. And I immediately loved these.
So yeah, when I saw these, the words of musty and humid came to mind,
Yes.
and that's the way you could see these boards happening. So very much like from the movie Aliens, where they go track down where the nest is, and the nest is next to the I don't know,
The heat exchangers, I think
heat,
it was.
heat exchangers. That's
Yeah.
it, and because it keeps them warm, and that's what you could see them doing. So imagine some plasma coils with this stuff bursting out all around them,
Oh,
because this is
yeah.
where this has found its home, and so it's not necessarily threatening, but you're not cutting off pieces of this and eating it, because it's definitely going to
No.
mess with your DNA and
But
genetics. So
perfect. So you have, like skulls and bones and that around it for people who've managed to get in there and have consumed it, and the alien fungus or whatever is just immediately just expanded in their throat. They die. They are just nutrients for the towers,
yeah,
baby.
yeah, and
Oh,
another one grows out of them. Yes. So
done.
you can use this terrain outside of your
Yep.
kill team for
Yep.
sure, absolutely for sure. But we are getting on a bit, so let's move on to our next one, because we've got a couple of really nice pieces coming up, and first and foremost is the new leader for the 8 bound. It's called a
Yes.
slaughterbound. Now, there's one thing to be said for a strong jawline, but this man takes it to a whole nother level. This is like defied. Even other space marines go to fight him and just like, I can't punch him in the face. I don't have the arm or hand strength to handle this, so I'm
If
gonna
I
have to
punch him in
take
the
him on.
face, I'm losing a finger.
Yeah, exactly. So this model, I think, is a wonderful example of 40k really pushing the limits, going to the next level, and taking the core element of what the 8 bound are, and really just taking that up another notch, and embracing the sense of the world eaters as almost like almost archaic slaughterman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and this is what this slaughterbound is. He is a monstrosity of combat and destruction, and I think it's been captured quite beautifully. When I first saw this miniature, when I was talking to you about it, instantly for me, I made a correlation with the what's it called, the Goliath Zerker. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It just gave that imposing, terrifying presence. And again, another miniature I'd love to see scaled against a regular Space Marine or a Astra Militarum, just to get an idea of what size it is. Because from what I can see there is looks like a Marine helmet on the base. It does look like a bit of a beast. It looks quite large. So that there is hopefully just the tip of the iceberg for the Cornate stuff. I can't wait to see what they get. I really hope they get another unit. I don't know, I'm always excited for Cornate stuff. I do have a reasonable sized Corn Berserker army sitting in my parents' garage somewhere. I might bust them out by the time they get their new codex, I think.
Well, I am a huge fan of the fact that it's just like, so regular 8 bound, just hang out with demons. That's pretty cool, I guess. But these big mamma jammers straight up ask for a bloodthirster to infect them and possess their entire existence. So um, he's got that going for him.
At least he's got something going for him, mate.
Yeah. Well, next up from that one there, uh, a controversial model. Um,
I don't believe it should be, but yes,
the
go on.
yeah the
Enlighten
internet
us to the controversy.
the internet got a little bit weird with this because the Sekitar robots. Now, a lot of people immediately ask the question of, have you ever seen Stargate SG-1? Because these look immediately like the Jafar warriors under the Goa'uld,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's one of the reasons I love them. But the reason people sort of seem against it is because they're saying that maybe the robots don't necessarily match the aesthetic of the
The
Thousand
Thousand Suns.
Suns,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I I get that. I feel where you're coming from. But the thing about this is it specifically states that these are used. The Thousand Sons have unshackled dark vaults of ancient technology, and now unleash the unsettling robot forms of the Sekitar robots on the galaxy. The Thousand Sons, in my opinion, did not make these. This is Dark Age of technology gear that the Thousand Sons have gotten their hands on and have adjusted to suit their own purposes, being their protectors for when they are going in to dangerous environments, right? In fact, if I bring the image back up here, if you look under that jackal head, you can almost see a domed head, very similar to the Votan Ironkin.
Oh, I was thinking the domed face of the Adeptus Mechanicus robots. Do you know what I
Or
mean?
maybe the Man of Iron.
Yeah, right.
I
I'm in
believe
total belief of your theory here.
I believe
So,
these are warrior forms of the Men of Iron. These are possibly. I believe these are artificial intelligence that has been
yep.
bent to the will of the Thousand Sons, but I think these are maybe dumber artificial intelligence. So
Yeah,
maybe they are
yeah.
given simple instructions and told, they don't have to. You don't have to put the data wafer in and go, initiate protocol 713. Oh, that's not working. Pull that one out. Put the new one in. You look
Yeah.
at these and go, you stand over there. Anyone who isn't loyal to me that shoot them in the face. Shoot
Yeah.
them repeatedly. And the robot's like,
Giggity, giggity, boss. Absolutely.
that's a thumb up for a robot with a flappy thing. Like that's how I see it.
Yep. Oh, I'm
And
with you
yeah,
totally on that. Yeah. I was noticing the same thing, the domed head. I think all the armor plates and all that is just stuff that the Thousand Sons have added on to make them
yes,
feel like one of their
yes,
own.
yep,
The missile racks are an addition that was just easily like a bolt on, but everything else is a man of iron that they have bent to the will of their legion.
yep,
Yes, no,
yep.
and the hate that I think, or hate's a strong word, but the dissatisfaction that people have with these, I think, is to me a little bit misguided. I think they're wonderful looking robots, and it's something that I mentioned to you as well, is that it's what they need to have to be able to continue the fight against the Imperium. You know what I mean? They can't continue on with, the corpse army that they have. They need something more, but they're not going to be taking on forms that Zinch is going to be able to change and mutate. They're going to be taking on forms that should hopefully be immune to that, to the changer of ways, and that's where these Sekitar robots make total sense. And I think aesthetically wise, yes, they don't look like Thousand Sons, but I think they're close enough that I think even just a change of paint job might be enough to
Yeah.
make people go, oh yeah, cool. I can see the blue in them. You know what I mean?
But the reason I think they don't look like the rest of the Thousand Sons is because they're from an age where warfare was very different.
Yeah.
The men of
Yep.
iron, the men of gold, the men of stone, they almost killed everything. The whole galaxy had to come together to fight them, and that's why they look so different. That's why they look so different aesthetically to everything else in 40k, no matter what the faction, because they
Yeah.
are from a completely different faction that existed at a point where no one now could fight an army of these things, because that army would just go, let's just purge the entire planet of all biological matter, and then we still survive because we're freaking robots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, have some of those radiological warheads.
We don't
Hold on
need
to
no
them.
Matrix style batteries. It's cold fusion, baby. Like, give me that rock. Ready? That's another 8 days of power. I'm giggity giggity. Let's go.
Wait till
But
you give me some proper, 98% alcohol. I'll be going for decades.
yeah.
Right, so I think we need to power on into our next one, which is
Yes.
the opposite to exactly what we've been talking about, which is the the Grey Knights and
Nemesis
the
Dreadnought.
Nemesis Dread Knight. Yes, it's
Yeah, buddy.
getting a new miniature. So, and I think from what we've talked about here, is this miniature is more just upscaling it to, I guess, the current sort of Space Marine scale.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah.
I think it's just sort of. It's a newer kit. I think the base of the model is still the same. It's got some new gubbins, new weapons, sort of new parts to the miniature. There's not a lot of difference here. The mace, there's like I think there's a sword. That's it's a new few bits for the miniature, and yeah, like we know it, we love it. We've seen a bunch of it, and we'll inevitably see Grey Knight players fielding 84 of these things in every game.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, even the article says that they're going to get a closer look at the night as we get
Yeah.
closer to their codex release. So we might even come back and review it again once we get a few more better detailed shots, because the shots that we do have, like even the zoomed in ones, aren't really that zoomed in. So it's a bit hard to make an assessment of them. So, but yeah, looking forward to actually, as a sort of the tip of the iceberg, looking forward to what the rest of what the rest of the Grey Knights range is going to be looking like.
Yeah.
And then, look, I mean, the moving on to the next part of the release from Adepticon. There's some pretty major releases, and I want to talk about this, but we've talked a lot, so we'll do our best to keep it short and tight on this one. But it is the new Space Wolves that are coming.
I'm glad I faded away from that. So the Space Wolves are getting the Primaris treatment, and I mean, what can you say about the Space Wolves there? Like, these are the new Blood Claws. I love these because they maintain that little bit of savagery. So all Space Wolves have savagery in them, but the Blood Claws, because they're young, because they're they're the ones you throw into the breach to sort of kill everything as quickly as possible. I think they're fantastic. The posing on them, they just look so much more ready to get into close combat as quickly as possible.
So with a note to the Blood Claws, one of the key things that I love is that we've got a beaky helmet on a Primaris body. Thank you very much. We saw that with 10th edition, that we're starting to see some of the older helmets being revisited. One of the key things that I'm noticing with the Blood Claws as opposed to the Grey Hunters, and we'll look at the Grey Hunters in the next bit, is less beards, less formed hair, very much like a young man's haircut on them.
Yep.
So they look like they look like the young bucks of a pack who are going to go forward and jump right into the guts of where the enemy are. I think in terms of the movement of the miniatures, the assault intercessors sort of set how that was going to go, but there's a few extra poses within the Blood Claws as well to just help give them that extra bit of like dangerousness to them, and even the things like the backhanded blade being held the way that it is, just the way the chainswords are held. I want to see more of this kit. I think it's going to be a very, very good kit. I do hope that it has a few more Space Wolf gubbins in it, though. Like just to
I
make
think it will.
Yeah.
You can see different versions of that stuff. Like I'll move on to Grey Hunters here. Like you can see the wolf totems, the claws on the bolters, the teeth icons and that sort of stuff, the fetishes, like all those little things. I think this will be a generic sort of upgrade kit. You'll probably get a couple that come with the box there. You can just sort of go for it in that regards. But the Grey Hunters here, like once again, the hair looks a little bit more refined than those Blood Claws. The facial hair is starting to come through. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
this,
even if you look at a few of the other grey hunters in the kit, they're starting to see yeah, they look like older Space Marines,
yes,
and you got to respect the miniature makers for what they've done here. You're easily able to tell the difference between the Grey Hunters and the Blood Claws, and that is without even looking at their war gear options.
yeah,
So fantastic stuff. Again, we get another old school helmet coming to the fore, but still keeping the Primaris identity as well. And again, I want to see a few more Space Wolfy bits in there, but at the moment, I think we've got some really good stuff for the Space Wolf players to work with. And my brother's a big Space Wolf fan as well, so it's
yeah.
exciting times for us. We've been sort of ogling this because I've always like helped him out, like with painting up a few things or doing up things just slightly different for his army. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much detail are in these kits. And I say that because I recently put together Navy Breaches, who are a bit of an older kit, and they had so much extra stuff in them. And it just seems that's the way that GW seems to take the kits these days. But yeah, I think we'll move into the Wolfguard head
The
takers.
head takers, and this is that next level up. So once again, all the very specific Space Wolf bits, the shields, the wolf tails, the pelts, the beards are more defined, the hair is more defined. Also, they get to hang out with a wolf all day. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to drink and play fetch with my dog. Oh, like you're throwing like a tennis ball? No, I'm throwing this heretic's skull. Like,
He loves it for some reason. Yeah.
yeah, he's into it. The heretic is still alive and he's begging me to stop. But you know what? If he didn't want to be thrown like a ball and then mauled on by a wolf, he wouldn't have questioned what the ecclesiarchy said that day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now I'm not too sure if we have it, Sam. Do we have the picture of the Wolfguard head taker with the sword and axe?
Uh, no.
No? Okay. So I'll just, for the sake of describing it, it is a Primaris helmet, and it's one of the few that I've seen that has been modified to not necessarily look like a Primaris helmet anymore.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
done very sort of like stylized Nordic.
Yes, yes, and it
Yeah.
looks beautiful. It's that kind of freedom that the Space Wolves give you, and exactly what you're saying. These guys, these head takers, begin to look more like, I don't know, the Space Wolves that I envisage. Like lots of robes, like unnecessary amount. Oh, sorry, not robes. Lots of furs, unnecessary amount of totems and fetishes, and all these things hanging off them. So, I can't wait to see more stuff to come along, because when you go into the Wolfguard battle leader, it's like each tier just seems to get more and more furry.
Yeah.
So you've got the blood claws, a little bit of fur. Grey hunters, medium amount of fur. And then you get to the head takers, you're like, there's a bit of fur. And then you get to the Wolfguard battle leader, and it's like, mate, you might have a problem here. Like you've got a lot
you have a
of wolf on you.
serious hair removal requirement.
Yeah, exactly. This miniature though is it's giving off like lone warrior holding off against the storm sort of vibes.
Yes.
Just the stance, the way the cape is blowing back, the weapon options that you're going to be able to see. It looks like an angry miniature, and it looks like it's going to be really simple to do those weapon options, and they're not. But it's really cool because the head swaps and the weapon swaps and all that, they don't lose the feel of what the miniature's about, of this lone sort of warrior holding back the storm, but also it's a Wolfguard battle leader, so
Yeah.
it is one of the lieutenants of the army and a highly respected individual. So if this thing comes walking through your Thunderhawk, all the blood claws are lowering their gaze and just offering respect straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to see that miniature in up a bit more up close, a few more details specifically of that Thunderhammer and so forth. I want to see the close ups of that and see exactly what that's about. And then we have
Yeah, you thought the battle leader got the respect. Then
Yeah.
you have the Wolf Priest. You said it just before, sort of every step up just seems to get a little bit more wolfy. This guy is it. He has fangs. He has the braids. You know, the each of those heads immediately put that head on any model within your Space Wolf army. It is a person of note.
Yes.
They are not a blood claw with the braids and a little bone woven into one of their dreadlocks. This is a warrior who would be worthy of fighting alongside Layman Russ himself.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
He if he went back to the heresy, the Russ would look at this and go, "You are one of my sons."
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to start a Primaris army, but if I was going to, I genuinely think it would probably be Space Wolves right now.
Oh, look, just a note to the Primaris Army thing, and I know we've been talking a fair bit so far. I feel like with the addition of the old school heads coming back, we're not going to see Primaris anymore. We're going to see Space Marine.
Yep.
It's all just
Yep.
Space Marine. And these Space Wolves are making the perfect transition. I don't see a Primaris Space Wolf. I just see it all as Space Wolves. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just a note about the chaplain, mate. Cracking miniature. And it's such a simple pose. And it just looks so intimidating. And it does exactly what it needs to do as a representation of a wolf priest or a chaplain within your army. It's brilliant. And I could see that model getting used as the Chaos Space Marine straight off the bat. Just
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Paint that armor red, and he is a perfect red Corsair. One of the Space Wolves who sided with Huron Blackheart.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. We are coming up to closing off the episode. We have just 3 more images left. And these are more of yours. Legion Imperialis Knights. So we are going to bring in, I believe the first ones are the Knight Atropos or Atropos.
Yeah, they're built from the Cerastus pattern, which is the best knight. The Cerastus. It's just the most beautiful knight. But the
They're
Atropos,
monsters. They are massive.
they are massive indeed. The Atropos is the Mechanicum version of it, with a pack and a lot. But it's more about the firepower than it is the close combat that the Cerastus is built around with the shield and the lance. So they've got massive lascars, and I think they've got gravitation singularity cannons, which again somebody's just thrown a Scrabble board down and gone,
Yep.
that's the name of our weapon.
Do you have one of these, like the Cerastus ones? No,
I have the
obviously you've got new
Cerastus.
ones.
Yeah.
How tall is that in comparison to a miniature?
Let me get old Callie Jericho up here, and let me have a look at it. So it stands taller than a 28mm miniature by about a quarter of the miniature height. Yeah.
So it would be pretty good for a murder cyborg.
Absolutely. Perfect. Would be perfect for it.
Cool. Congratulations, Games Workshop. You just sold me a box of Imperialis.
And do you know what you do? You strip off the shoulders and the dome and you replace it with something else. Like they're quite... I've got the dome off my one at the moment. They're quite blank as a canvas up top. But there's a lot of detail around where the arms slot in. So you could just layer it with like a hardened armor carapace on top.
Yeah.
To really strip away that look of looking like a Atropos knight. So, yeah, there's plenty of option there, but yeah, definitely a murder cyborg. 100% would work ideally. The next one that we have is, mate, this knight is going into my army. No two ways about it. It is an absolute monstrosity. The Acastus Knights. Oh my word. They are guns galore. They are titans without being titans. The amount of
a
firepower.
gun on each arm that's got 46 missiles coming out of its back.
But more importantly, it fires conversion beams. And when I first played my first Games Workshop game, which was Space Crusade, the conversion beam was the fun weapon to use because it had like a big explosion. So in my mind, it's always been one of the most powerful, one of the most fun weapons to use. So these are on my immediate to buy list. They will be going straight into my army because I just love them. They look like just hard nuts. Like,
Yeah.
they will take it hiding all day long, and then come back asking for seconds. And I've only got about 5 knights at the moment. So if I add 2 more of these, I think I'll get the perfect amount to balance my army. But also just the notion of having them in the army as well is important
I
for
love how
me.
you do that. It's like, I only have about 5 nights. I'm like, oh, okay. That's a lot of nights, bro.
I don't think so. Mate, sorry, excuse me. They used to have knight lance formations or whatever they were called at like 9 apiece. That's a lot of knights.
That's kind of when you want a day. Um,
Sorry, getting affected by my love of the knights. It's making me all emotional.
all right. So that is everything that has so far been announced in the month of March of 2025. That was massive. Me and Nathan laughed because we're just like, oh yeah, it'll shouldn't be long, maybe an hour or so, and yeah, it's been a little bit longer than an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We try not to
but
talk, but
we try not to talk, but we can't help it. Of everything, okay, everything that isn't Imperialis. What is your favourite miniature that has been previewed this month?
what? You can't take the Imperialis out of it.
I can.
Um, Let me have a little think here. I'm trying to, I'm just quickly flicking through the images and getting rid of the Imperialis stuff.
Wrong. It's the Cathay hot air balloon.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's
Do you
not?
know what it is? It is for me.
Vandoth?
I've got 3 miniatures, and I don't
Okay.
care what your rules are.
Okay.
It's Vandoth.
Yep.
It's the Zinchian Knights, the Jinxian robots. Sorry.
Yep. The Secretary.
Yep. And the Castus Knight.
Yep. Okay. Mine is the Lantern, the Lantern, and the Lantern. No, it's the Lantern. Vandoth. Vandoth is. I must have Vandoth.
Yeah, it's a must buy, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the Lantern. It's Vandoth, and I'm a little bit shocked that I'm saying this, but those Cerastus Knights, the ones
Yeah.
that are I want them. I
Yeah,
think I would love a box of
the
them to do.
Atropos, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I want to do them as like a box of them as just some big bads in a game, like a scenario in Necromunda. Like that would be
Yeah.
sick.
Well, they fit to the hip joint really nicely, right? So you can replace the bottom half with human legs or the top half with a human body, and just mix and match it like that. So, even some servitor components would look really good.
Yeah, well, those
those.
servitors were my number 4.
Oh, my number 4 is definitely the Wolf Priest. It's very good. It's a very, very good miniature. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next set of releases that we're going to get this month because the quality has just been phenomenal. And I just have a feeling Imperialis is going to get a big up, so I can't wait for that as well.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
all right, that is us done. That is another month in review finished. Please do the Facebook, do the YouTube thing, like and comment and subscribe and share and send us your credit card details. Whatever it is you want to do. Every little thing helps us here at the Underhive Lorekeepers, and this will come out the 1st of April-ish.
Maybe it might not because it's the first of April.
Oh,
It's a
God,
joke.
no. I can't do that again this year. I still get people angry at me about the 6-minute abs episode.
It's a great episode. I don't know why people don't
So
like it.
good. I'm
Again, if
tempted
you
to
haven't
release it
heard
again this year.
That would be funny. And just call it 7-minute abs
Yeah.
and just have a minute of nonsense just added to the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Let's do that. That's great.
All right, done.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, thank you all again, and we'll see you in a month's time for our next miniature review.
Like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, credit card details.
Of course.
Bye, scummers.
Bye.